Okay.
All right, now start over. We're on.
It's rolling?
Yep.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to NY Giants Rush. Well, presented by NY Giants Rush. Rush Hour. I got the truth, Michael Stewart, with me. We had a couple technical difficulties here. We're running the show tonight. But thanks for jumping on board as we do the Cardinals Giants preview. But Mike and I were just chatting before, and we weren't on the show on Monday. But Mike, before we turn the page, and I know it's difficult and it hurts everybody to go over this again, but just give us a quick your thoughts, quick thoughts on Sunday night.
Well, listen, like every Giant fan, man, I felt the pain. It was so brutal. For me, since I've been a Giant fan for a long time, it felt like the early 70s. Watching the offense, how miserable, and it made me look up a stat out of curiosity. Under the Judge and Garrett era, the 2 years the Giants never were shut out, and it was just shocking me that they got shut out. And I really thought it'd be a good game. I was expecting a good game. Never did I expect a 40-0 shellacking, and that's what it was. They got their butts kicked in. They really did.
Yeah, they really did, Mike. I mean, when you think back to all the Giant teams and the things we've gone through with this offense, on opening day to get, that's like salt in the wound, 40-0. But, we're turning the page. We're moving fast and furious towards the Cardinals. It's Wednesday. The players were on the field today for practice. So let's just give a quick breakdown on who was at practice today and exactly who is missing. Hang on one second. I have an update here. So today at practice, you didn't have Andrew Thomas. He sat out, obviously, with the hamstring. Darren Waller, they gave him a vet day. Limited. You had Deonte Banks, Cam Brown, Cordell Flott, Graham Gano with an ankle, Aziz with a hamstring, Javarius Owens with a hamstring, Matt Pert with an elbow, Wan'Dale Robinson. So they still with the knee, but they're just bringing him along. And Deonte Banks had a calf. Cam Brown was the ankle, but they just pretty much just gave him limited in practice today. So Thursday's the big day, as we know. That's really when you see, if guys don't practice, more times than not, they're going to be doubtful. So just moving forward, and thanks for everybody joining up. I see we Mark B, Jay, Darius. So thanks again. And Mike and I were speaking earlier. We'll do a lot of questions at the end of the show. We're halfway through to try and get everybody involved. But let's look at that Cardinal team, Mike, and everybody that's watching tonight. The Cardinals defense played pretty damn well against Washington. I mean, they had 6 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, one of which was a sack and a scoop and score, and they had a pick. So this is a defense when you have a Budda Baker at safety, when you have a Kazir White who was with Philadelphia with Jonathan Gannon, the head coach. I mean, they're a defense that you have to take seriously. Even this guy, Gardnick, the linebacker, had 2 sacks, who's been around a while. So give me your thoughts on facing this Arizona defense. And should the Giants scale things back? I know we want this open air attack, but after Sunday and a couple, bumps and bruises on the offensive line with Thomas, give me your thoughts on what you would expect the offense to look like on Sunday.
Okay, well, I'll answer that first. I really think they could possibly scale it down a little bit and try to simplify it with Jones and Barkley as their main guys, and like they did last year. I know Giant fans want to see more of the playbook opening up, but I think when you get knocked down like they did, I think you need to get up and walk before you start running again. So I think you might see that.
I agree with you, Mike. It's almost like dipping your toe in the water on Sunday. You want to test the water, how cold it is before things get, you start airing the ball out and maybe give Jones, time in there with a play action or want him to sit back there and survey the field. But yeah, Jay asked a question. Aziz with the hamstring, seriously, yeah, he was added to the injury report later this afternoon out of nowhere. I don't think it's anything too serious, but he was added to the report. But yeah, I tend to agree with you, Mike. I would expect the Giants to run the ball just like they started the Dallas game, and hopefully special teams and mistakes, are limited. But I expect the Giants to pound the ball early and hopefully loosen them up, and then maybe see how they feel about airing it out a little bit more. And that brings us to the next question with Andrew Thomas. I mean, they gave him off today. We'll know tomorrow if he doesn't practice. It's not going to look good. He'll probably be doubtful if he doesn't practice on Thursday for a Sunday game. So, you're looking at Matt Pert at left tackle, but then also Dable today after practice said Ezeudu in training camp, which we know he did some work at tackle. He also jumped in the other night at tackle. But you know what? Ezeudu in the running game does a fine job. Putting him on the island at left tackle with maybe a limited help. I don't know how I feel about that in pass protection. What's your thoughts on that, Mike?
Well, yeah, I mean, that we all know that his strength is as a run blocker, and that's when he plays mostly inside, as the guard. So he's going to be tested if he does have to play. So like you said about tomorrow, we're crossing our fingers here for Thomas. I know this is not the same Cardinal team. They kind of change rosters a lot as the years go by, but the Giants lost the last 2 times to them. So, this is not going to be a pushover game. This is going to be a game and we're going to talk about that because you and I looked at the schedule.
Yeah,
it's a very pitiful game that they have to win. It's only the second game of the year, so this is big.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. I mean, we'll get into that as we move down a little ways into the show. But also, when you look at the Arizona defense, they're aggressive, and if you have to put somebody at left tackle, I guess it's a toss-up between Pert and Ezeudu, because if you play Ezeudu at left tackle after Pert was really, you thought he was the swing tackle. I mean, geez, how far has this guy fallen off where he's not even going to be the swing guy any longer? And looking back to Ezeudu, going back to his college days, I don't know how often he played, left tackle. I know he's played a little bit on the line, in his college days, but it does scare me that limited time, and now you throw him in the second game at left tackle. So it just goes to show, not just the Giants, but depth is hard to find in the NFL at tackle.
And you're right about that. It doesn't look good for Pert that Ezeudu starts over him, if he does start over him, if Thomas can't go. You know? Absolutely. Yeah. I'm looking at a lot of the questions over here, and a lot of them I agree with what they're talking about the Giants with their game plan offensively. I think it needs to be a little more run than pass, and if you do pass, it needs to be short. And how many times they get to Waller? 2 times in the first and 0 in the second half, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Did that right?
That's right. Yep.
You can't have that. You can't.
No. But I guess if you were to, play detective, if you do start Ezeudu at left tackle, maybe that gives an indication that the Giants are going to run the ball awfully a lot, because he is a hell of a run blocker. I mean, he's powerful, moves, so, the whole thing with Ezeudu is he has to improve his pass pro, and that's what scares you at left tackle. He's not getting much help there by himself, maybe with you move Bellinger to that side a little bit and help him out, but I don't even know how often that, I guess you'd have to, go with Bellinger a little bit on the left side. But so I don't know. Ezeudu plays, I guess you're looking at more of a running game, and that's the way I would take it. So that's going to be interesting, and maybe Thomas plays, but we'll know more tomorrow. If he's limited or if he's out. I mean, if he's out on a Thursday, I would say he's probably doubtful, especially because you got Frisco coming up in less than a week.
That's right.
And once again, the Giants are going to take the trip out to the West Coast, and they're going to stay out there for the whole 2 games. And Chris D makes a good point. Glowinski, big problem. He even said today in the locker room that he's got to play better. So these guys read the social media and read the clippings. They know they're getting ripped on and need to play better. So
No, go ahead. I was
just going to say, and just like Jay says here, the Cowboys D line, they come in waves, right? We were talking about that before, Mike. It's tough. We're not going to see that every week, and we'll get a little bit of a break this week. But the Cowboys and the Eagles, boy, they just come with almost like a hockey line, right? They just keep coming after you with waves of guys, and so maybe this week will be hopefully a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. That's the trend of successful teams, boy. You have depth and just keep rolling them out there and stay fresh. The Giants did that a decade ago when they had the 2 Super Bowl runs. They had such depth on the defensive line, and they just pounded the offensive line. And Brady can tell Tom Brady would tell you how difficult it was to do what he needed to do to move the football.
Right. And Jay and a couple other guys make a good point on Lemieux. You know, he is on the team. You could see Lemieux being maybe factored in there at the guard spot. And then maybe that is a replacement for Glowinski at some point if they do stick with Ezeudu at left, if they were to put him at left tackle. But I think more than not, when Thomas plays, I think if Glowinski has another week like he had, I think you might have to say Ezeudu might get another shot there to start at that guard position because, that was just it was like a sieve with guys coming in on Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, Jones was hit, I think, 12 times, sacked whatever it was, 7 times. They got to improve that. But it's going to be a little bit like last year. I feel like, Mike, where it's going to be get the ball out quick on Sunday when he does throw.
And we could see more RPOs with Jones. We did last year. Do something just to create any kind of confusion and slow down any kind of pass rush that they have. They got to do that. I felt so bad for Jones, and I know Jones took a beating this week in Twitter.
Right.
And in the media, and I don't want to get into that stuff because, I challenge any quarterback who can be successful under that duress. I challenge any quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a Giant show, but you saw what happened with Rodgers getting hit on every time he dropped back. That Jets offensive line might be just as bad right now as the Giant line. And we've said all offseason as we talk about the Jets and everything that they've done and what a hell of a defense, but their Achilles heel, no pun intended, is their offensive line. So, you see a guy like Rodgers, he couldn't do much either. I mean, he was getting hit every time he dropped back, but hopefully they'll tighten things up this week, and we're going to see, I guess it all relies on Thomas, whether he plays or not, because if not, it's going to shuffle everything around, and maybe they become a little more conservative. But, so it'll be interesting. So when you move to the offensive side of the ball, let's just look at a Josh Dobbs. He's been in the league before. He was 21 to 30 for 132 yards, nothing spectacular. But he did, Zach Ertz didn't get a lot of mention, but he had 10 targets. So I feel like Dobbs looks to Ertz quite a bit. He had only a handful of catches, but, look for Ertz to get involved in this game. And the Rondell Moore, the wide receiver from Purdue, they seem to move him around a lot, almost like what we want to do with a Paris Campbell, putting him in the backfield and, jet sweeps type stuff. So, looking at that offense, and our old friend Will Hernandez at guard, right? So give me your thoughts on the offense with Arizona and what the Giants defense might be looking to do.
Well, I think the Giants defense needs to wake up and they need to be creative. I mean, we talk about the Giants offense needs to be a little more conservative. I think the Giants defense has to be more aggressive, and I think Wink needs to really just think outside the box and do whatever to confuse this kid, Dobbs, who's the kind of quarterback. He's not going to be flashy, but he doesn't seem to make mistakes. He just tries to keep the game within himself and let the other players lead the way. I would think. I just saw highlights of the game against Washington. So, but I think it's the Giants defense has to rise. They have to rise here. I mean, we need Thibodeau. We need Aziz. We need guys like that to step up. We really do.
Yeah, and get some turnovers, right? So I mean, the turnover battle we lost big time with special teams, and when you look at Dobbs, he's really your prototypical game manager. Not going to make a lot of mistakes, but he's also not going to, he's not going to light it up either. But he's going to control the game, control the clock. He's going to lean on the running game with Arizona, and that's really what they try to do. Connor, I think, had 62 yards, 12 carries, so nothing crazy. But Giants just stop the run. And then just, I don't think Dobbs will beat you even with 2 rookie corners. I think the Giants should be okay. But it's a matter of getting on top early, right? Everybody getting on top early, getting a lead, and then trying to pin our ears back and go after them and put the game away. But I don't know. I feel like this is going to be some sort of a close game. It's a must-win for the Giants. Hate to say that, game 2. Do you agree, Mike? Game 2.
Absolutely.
Looking at the schedule, who we have next week. I mean, this is.
I mean, go over the schedule too, Chris, because after they play Arizona, they got San Francisco, as you mentioned. then
Yeah.
give the other 3 games.
Yeah, so everybody, that's on that's listening tonight. So obviously, you want to beat the Cardinals and get to 1-1 because you go to San Francisco. Hey, if they were to win that game, I think that'd blow everybody away. Not saying they can't do it, but I don't think we're looking at as a win. So you go to, let's say you go to, and I hate to do this every game, but 1-2. So you want to come back home against Seattle. At the very least, you want to be 1-2 and get to 500 because after October 2nd, you're back on the road against Miami and Buffalo. And those are 2 tough games. You're hoping for a split there. And we know how teams change during the season. We think they're going to be one way, and then during the season, they falter or things happen. So you don't know. Maybe we get it. Hopefully there's a split there on those 2. But I think you got to think you want to come back home and secure that Monday night game against Seattle and get to 2-2. Because then after that, it gets a little tough. So
yeah,
that is a must win. I mean, Mike, you do not want to go 0-2 walking into San Francisco on a short week on the West Coast. Oh, I mean, all the crap they got to bring with them from Jersey that they have to bring to the West Coast. And now to be stuck after there, losing to the Cardinals at 0-2, that's not going to feel good or go well at all.
That would be a long week for those guys. If they lose Sunday, a long week.
Yeah. I mean, I used to, a few years ago, before Dable came along, the saying was, I used to say, the leaves haven't even changed color and the season's over. I mean, so let's not get to that point. This is a win on Sunday. So, everybody's chiming in, and we'll let's hear your thoughts on Sunday too, what everybody thinks, how the game will go. But looking at, once again, their offense, they have a Randall Moore, like you said, they move him around, a lot of sweeps, a lot of motion. Hollywood Brown, he only had 3 catches for 28 yards. So I'm not so concerned with the receivers as much, even with our rookie corners. I'm more concerned about the turnover battle, not making mistakes, and just letting the Giants play their game. So I think that's what we're looking at here is get the turnovers. But once again, that Arizona defense can't be taken lightly. And Gannon with Philadelphia, he knows how to play the Giants. He knows our weaknesses. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. So what else, Mike, about the game besides? Oh, you know what I'm going to bring up? Like special teams. So let's talk about that.
Oh yeah, definitely talk about special teams.
Yeah. So go ahead. What do you want?
No, well, in my coach's corner preview of the game, I had that as one of the must things the Giants got to avoid if they want to win that game. And
I read that. Yep.
At no point did I think that we were going to miss a defender going right through the line, blocking a field goal attempt, running it back for a touchdown. I wasn't thinking those lines, but that turned the game around. It almost like knocked the wind out of the Giants. I know I felt it. And then everything else, as went downhill. But special teams, man, we always knew that it has been weak over the last few years. And what they got to turn it around because all they got really is Cano as a positive on the special teams. They really do. That's. And he even struggled, right? He missed a field goal. Did he miss 2 field goals?
He did. He missed 1. He had 1 blocked, and then obviously, and he tweaked his ankle too. He was on the injury report today. I mean, he didn't say, so he was limited.
Right? There you go.
Yeah, so he got rolled up a little bit, I think, on the block. But boy, a lot of things happen on that block. Andrew Thomas pulled the hamstring or tweaked it on the block. So and I don't want to go over the game again, but we heard this week that the Cowboys caught that on film. Having 2 guys on that one side where Azudu was, and then jumping in between Azudu and the other lineman. That they saw an opening there on film where they could potentially block a kick, and it worked. Hopefully, he shores that up this week. I would hope.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So Jay said he was injured when he missed the 2nd field goal. Okay, good job, Jay. I didn't know that. That was the 2nd field goal, the one he missed, obviously. But okay, so so chime in, everybody. Give us your thoughts on what you think is going to happen on Sunday.
Can I jump in while we're looking for questions here?
Yeah.
I just want to say this. All week looking at Twitter and whatever it's called now, and I understand the frustration Giant fans have and how frustrating it is, but it's not easy, to. I know the offensive line is such a struggle, and we've been talking about this for so many years. you know, and I just have to have faith, and I have faith in Shane. And I don't think he's done a bad job. At some point, you have to believe that guys like Evan Neal is going to turn it around. I'm not giving up on that kid. I know a lot of people are calling him a bust, and that's their right. I'm not going to get there yet. I really think that, you don't play in the SEC at a high level, going against high level talent, against a lot of guys who have made the pros, especially your own teammates in practice. You don't get there and do well and then come to the NFL and then you're a bust. Some people take longer to develop, to figure it out. The game needs to slow down. I'm not giving up on him. And same with, even though he had a pitiful game, Azuzo, I'm not going to give up on him either. So, but I do believe that they need to make more changes there, and that's going to come with time. It's just going to be patient. That's all.
Yeah. And a big hello to Peter. Thanks for coming on board, and Tudo and everybody. But you make a great point with Neal, because he's a first-round pick, you get him for 5 years. And a lot of people this week had said, oh, move him to guard. Well, if he hasn't practiced guard in training camp, you don't really maybe would be so quick to slide him over there, because now who are you going to put over on the other side? I mean, that becomes an issue. A guy like Tyree Phillips, I believe, is on the Cowboys practice squad. You can bring him back. But I think you're right, Mike. If it doesn't work out with Neal, maybe next year you do experiment with him at guard, in the off season. And one of the things, and you know this, Mike, because you're a big college guy, one of the knocks, and nobody's perfect, right? These offensive linemen, it's hard to find depth in the NFL, first of all. And even your first round picks, they all have weaknesses. But one of the things you heard about Neal, it was balance, and sometimes he gets over his toes. Is that one of the flags that you had on him?
Yeah, his footwork. His footwork was definitely one of the negative ones. And in college, he won a lot of battles just by being so big and with strength. But yeah, and I even mentioned that this offseason that he needed to get a little bit lighter and work on his footwork. Because that's what I saw last year.
Good call, Jerry. You went to Cowboys. Tyree Phillips with the Eagles on the practice squad, so they could bring him back if they had to. And Darius, good point about the footwork. I mean, when I hear footwork, I think of Eric Flowers, because that was his biggest downfall, was the punch and the footwork. So, that's scary when you hear about the footwork.
Yeah, that's scary. Don't do that.
But you have the guy for 5 years under a rookie contract. You'd hate to have to cut him after a couple years. So maybe if it doesn't work out and it becomes a horror show this year, maybe he does become your guard, because it happens a lot. I mean, we've seen top draft picks, a DJ Fluker, who was a tackle, moved to guard. So, during their careers.
Same college, right? Same college, too.
Okay. Yeah, right. And, what's his name moved to guard? The Robert Gallery in the Eli draft, right? He was, touted as the best ever, going to come out, and look what happened to him, right? They moved him to guard, and he had a respectable career at guard. So
there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's the case and he succeeds and does well, I don't consider that a bust. I really don't. But we'll see what happens. I'm not giving up.
No, same here. So, it's going to be interesting to see how the next few games play out. But I think it all hinges on Thomas, if he's able to go at left tackle, because it's just going to be a mix of all right, now who do you put in at left tackle? Is it Azudu? Is it Pert? And now you focus goes on Glowinski, and obviously you're still looking at Neal on the right side. So, boy, a lot of things. That's why I think the running game is going to be even more so important this weekend. Now, when you look at the defense of the Giants going up against the Cardinals, they do some motion type stuff, and they kind of are a little bit creative. But Mike, are you more or less going to put 8 guys in a box or bring down that safety against the Cardinals and just eliminate the run, because you feel like that's what they want to do? Or are you just going to go pretty much, I'll say vanilla, but just show vanilla and then just be creative with like a wink type defense, bringing guys and being a little bit creative in that way? Or are you going to just want to stop the run right off the bat?
I think, like I said earlier, I think Wink needs to make a statement, and I think it would be a good idea to open up with an 8-man box and just tell the Cardinals say that, hey, your quarterback has to beat us. Here we come. Face. Just go right at them with 8 guys, and let's have our guys who can pass rush put a little pressure on him so he can make a mistake and throw the ball prematurely. Don't sit back. Please, let's not do that. And that's not Wing's style to do that. So
Right.
I'm confident that he's going to be very creative, like you mentioned, to have a safety coming in on the blitz and things like that. So I see aggressiveness from the Giants defense this week.
Yeah, I feel the same way, and I've been saying this about Pinnock. Wink loves Pinnock, blitzing him from the safety position. So unfortunately, last week against Dallas, he didn't have the opportunity, but I could see that being a point of interest this weekend. And I'm with you. Even though you got the 2 rookie corners, I'm not afraid of Josh Dobbs. I think these guys actually did a decent job against the Cowboys. They didn't throw the ball a lot, but I thought they did pretty well. So I'm with you. I think you set the tone, put the pressure on them, and make them either make mistakes or they're punting the ball to you quite a bit on Sunday.
And keep in mind, Chris, that this is a homecoming kind of for Simmons.
Yeah.
And what better way for Wink to put a package of defensive plays for Simmons and tell him, "Babe, I'm going to use you for these plays."
Absolutely.
And I want you to, this is your show these guys what they made a mistake, let you go.
Right.
So I look for Simmons to show up a little bit here and show some flash, in this game.
Yeah, no, I agree. And speaking of a homecoming, hey, Arizona's going to be loaded with Giant fans. They always travel Arizona. There's a lot of transplants over there.
Sure.
So, and Arizona's not supposed to be, there might be the worst team in the league going into the season. They didn't show it last week. They played well. It might be 50-50 Giant fans in the building next week. So that'll be nice. 106 degrees. The roof will be closed, I hope, in Glendale. So that'll be hopefully it won't be an issue. Our guys won't be sucking wind like they will in Miami a few weeks from now. So, they'll the weather should be okay. Obviously, with the roof closed, that shouldn't be an issue with the heat. But, it's going to be like a home game, I feel like, with the Cardinals and Giants. There's going to be a lot of Giant fans, so no excuse. Won't be the game they should win. They really do. So anybody, that wants to ask some questions or chime in, do you want to go over the comments, Mike, and pick a few out? Or
I'm looking at some. I'll let you, if you want, I can go. I noticed one right off the bat here from James. He kind of agrees with us. He sees the Giants going very heavy into blitzing and putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback and let the quarterback beat us. And I think that needs to be the way to go. Yeah,
I think we all, kind of think the same thing. And Jay makes a good point. Washington's O-line, they took a beating last week. So, with the 6 sacks. So I don't know. It's going to be
and that's with Nick Gates, right? Everybody wants Nick Gates
was in there. Yeah. And, Sam Howell didn't light it up. He's, nobody knows what he is. He had one good game last year against Dallas and played okay, on Sunday. But it's going to be, I think, a little bit tight to the vest till you feel comfortable on Sunday. A little bit close to the vest, as they say. Nothing too crazy right out of the gates until, things feel a little bit more confident and that they can get Jones back there and get protection. Because, the play action scares me right now. Protection from the left side if Thomas is in there, up the middle, Golinsky. There's so many different things of concern, and actually the rookie Schmitz did a heck of a job on Sunday. I thought he did pretty well despite everybody else. So I don't know. I think we're in for a 2022 type of Giants game where they, not something that we kind of thought going into this game where they're going to throw the ball a lot. I think it's going to be more of a 2022 type of Giants game early in the season, what we saw running the game. Maybe similar to that Titans game, because the Titans, they had a very good defense, not a great offense, but ball control, run the clock. So I think if you look at that Titans game from last year, that might be the type of game plan that Abel and Kafka might be going towards.
Yeah, I agree with that, Chris. I'm looking at some of the questions, and James asked me what my favorite movie is, and I got my buddy over here spit out Deliverance, which isn't, but that's pretty funny. If you know Deliverance, I don't know if you ever saw Deliverance.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, but there's a scene in that movie that it's pretty crazy. But anyway, answer your question, James. My favorite movie is The Godfather, part 1 and 2. Really, to me, that's one movie right there. So that's my favorite movie.
Some people say 2. Did you like 2 better than 1?
I did only because I like the flashbacks.
Yeah, the flashbacks were good.
With Robert De Niro being introduced to the movie and
Right.
Yeah, it was very good. And they spoke Italian, so I like that. That was good. That was good.
Yeah, a lot of people like to. And Sarah just jumped in. Thanks for coming on board, Sarah. Happy to have you tonight. Let's see. Anything else, Mike, on here? I know we have.
I'm looking. Yeah.
What else we have? They were beating us, Juan Maldonado. They were beating us so bad the refs were laughing at us. Well, I was at the game, and if that's true, geez, that's pretty bad. The refs were laughing at us, huh, Juan? That's great. Yeah, and somebody I can't see up on top, right above Peter. Lots of Saquon. Whoever said that, I gotta.
Well, he had 12 touches, right, in this game.
I have to look that up. I think it was under 15.
Yeah, and of course, when they get killed 30, 29, nothing, they're going to be throwing the ball more, guys. You kind of know they got to do that. So yeah, I think you're going to see more Saquon. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't get anything less than 20 touches. I mean, I would think that's about what he's going to get. If more than so be it. If it's working, yes, of course.
Yeah, you sprinkle, the Breida in. Brightwell, I think it's going to be a heavy dose of running, especially with listen, even if Thomas plays, Mike, he still has the hamstring, right? So, I mean, it's not like he's going to be 100%. So, I don't know. I think the running game.
Play him, Chris, precautionary. Yeah. They may not play him. I don't know.
I'll tell you what, if you want him, I hate to think of it this way, but if you don't play him, this is so bad. If you don't play him on Sunday, which I get if he's not ready, do you even play him against San Francisco? I know that's not good for Jones, but I mean, it's like, can't he make it back that quick anyway? It's like maybe you should sit him for San Francisco and have him come back for Seattle 10 days later because it's
I don't know how severe this hamstring is. I mean, I never had a serious hamstring injury. I've had a nagging one, but obviously I don't play at the level NFL guys play. But I know that they could be tricky. One sudden movement could aggravate it.
Yeah.
So
he got an MRI, and he even said, and the doc said, it's not serious. It's almost like it's day to day. But once again, it's like, ooh, do you need the game Sunday? But can you win without him and play this game of close to the vest and run the ball? So a heavy dose of it without him. And once again, if the Giants play a Zudu at left tackle and not Pert, that tells me the Giants are going to run an awful lot of off tackle off a Zudu, and they're going to give a heavy dose of running. So keep an eye on that. If
I agree with that.
That tells me right there it's going to be a heavy dose of a running game.
And if you and I think that, don't you think that Arizona's going to think that too?
Yes, but when you look at the rosters. When you're talking about straight ahead running game, I think the Giants with the running game, we saw it on that first drive. I think the Giants could definitely, they have better talent. I mean, maybe in a passing game, pass protection, it's iffy, but against the Cardinals, I think in a running game, I think the Giants should be able to hold the run in the running game. I think they're good in the running game. It's just, that pass pro with the stunts, the twists, they still can't figure this out. I mean, we've been hearing about stunts and twists for years that the guys gave. Will Hernandez, when he was on the Giants, we always heard that he didn't know when there was a stunt or twist or who to pick up what.
Right.
So it's ironic he's with the Cardinals because that's the same kind of stuff we heard when he was here. So yeah. But so let's hear some. Yeah,
got another one here from James. He wants to know: do you think the overall D-line play goes down with more rotation? So. Now, I watched the game. I saw Jordan Riley play a little bit more. I didn't notice Nunez. Did he play enough snaps?
He did. He actually got in on a couple plays. He may have had a sack on one.
What about Robinson?
I have to look at it. He may have gotten in, but I once again I was at the game. I don't think he got a ton of snaps, but I have to look at the. Let me check that out. I'll check that out.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, do you think I'm asking you this? Do you think it would make sense if they did implement those three guys along with the other three guys they got, and just keep getting them out there fresh? I understand that Williams may get a little bit less snaps, or maybe Lawrence might get a little less snaps, but it is a second game of the year. You don't want to overkill these guys and have these guys take 40 plus snaps out of 60 possible snaps.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, especially with the short week going to San Francisco. And now you have the depth. You have a Nunez Roches, you have a Ashawn Robinson. So
That's
now
what
since you have guys in back of Leo and Dex, I don't think you're that concerned because you have some good guys in back of them. So I think like, the Eagles do and the Cowboys, you get a nice rotation of giving these guys a break. I mean, we're used to seeing Leo and Dex getting 70 snaps. I mean, I don't know, maybe they get 50. Depends how the game's going too. Because I'll tell you what, 40-0 sucks, right? I mean, they got blown out, embarrassed.
It's one loss. It's only one game,
it's one loss. And I think I said to you, Mike, thank God the NFL doesn't have a rule where if you lose by 40 or more points, it counts as 2 losses. Because that I could see that, that would be definitely acceptable after Sunday. But I'm thinking because they lost 40-0, maybe they do jump on the Cardinals and run it down their throats and get out to a lead where you could now scale back Dex and Leo. Wouldn't that be nice to be up by a few scores in the fourth quarter? And now you could just let these guys rest up for next week. But who knows? But hey, 40-0, man. You got to come out pretty PO'd, I would think.
I'm sure they're having one heck of a practice this week with Dable. I'm sure he's going to be pushing them this week. Yeah. And I'm sure it was very uncomfortable for every Giant player to watch that film, watch the film of the game. I'm sure it was miserable. And they should be upset, and they should come out nasty and mean. And for this game, they really should. And that's going to show us what kind of team they are.
Right. Yeah.
How they come out in this game. I don't want to see them coming out slow. I want to see them coming out.
Yeah.
Like mean hungry. Like what was that Lawrence Taylor? Like a bunch of
crazy
dogs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I want to see. I want to see these guys answer the bell and be embarrassed that they play so horribly. Yeah. It was an insult. It was a disappointment. They know it.
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell wants to lose 40-0?
No, it's embarrassing.
Right? Yeah. So
absolutely, Mike. And let me ask you and anybody else. Dable obviously isn't on the hot seat. He had a hell of a year his first year. He's going to be here for a while. I'm not doubting him. But if McGahee has another issue on special teams as the coach this week, if they get another field goal blocked, a punt blocked, or just poor coverage. Going into the next couple of weeks, I mean, would you say that could he be in jeopardy of losing a job in the season if this continues? Because special teams we knew it from preseason it was an issue. And now goal blocked.
You would think that, wouldn't you? But I mean, I know Dable says all the right things. There's no problem. I think he was questioned that one time by his look at the sidelines, looking at what's his name after a play, but he said there's no issue. But you got to think that, Chris, right? I mean, it is a business, and you expect a lot from your players. The same thing goes for your coaching staff.
Yeah.
So you got to think, and again, this is an ongoing issue, like you mentioned. So I agree. I think there is some truth to it that he could be in trouble if this continues next few weeks. Really. Right.
I mean. Listen, Azudu isn't your 52nd guy on the roster. He's your backup guard, maybe now tackle. You got to take the guy on the inside and eliminate that rush. Even if the guy on the outside was going to get there, they tell you take the guy on the inside. So you expect more from your backup guard. He's not some 51st guy that just made the team. You knew he was making the team, and that's not something you wouldn't expect from him, who was the 67th overall pick in the last year's draft.
That's right.
So
third rounder,
yeah. But what do you call? A couple guys made a good point here. Chris Dable is to blame as well as Kafka. Getting away from the run, and that's a great point because when you look at Kansas City, Kafka comes from the whole Reed, coaching and playing when he played with him with the Eagles as the backup. So he's been with Reed a long time. You see that with the Chiefs and the Eagles for the time there when Reed was there for that long time. Was that they get away from the running game, right, Mike? It seems like they bail on the run, these guys that want to air it out. And I like Kafka, but I feel like, he's kind of – maybe I hope he's not like Reed where he bails on it so quick.
Yeah, and another good point here, with the weather conditions, how it was raining so hard, trying to throwing in that condition was very difficult. And we were playing them right in their hands. Like I think James said that. Mm-hmm. So I'm confident in this team. I guess I'm a glass half full kind of guy. I just think the Giants are going to respond to this. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy win or roll over this team. I think it's going to be a close game, but I really think that they're going to show up and they're going to make a statement.
Yeah, I agree. And Chris, I hope so. I'm kind of on the fence, but Chris D made a good point. Why abandon the run? It's not like it's the third quarter, and that's why it even more says to me that they got to just run the ball this week against this team. So a good point. Stick to the run. You know what, Mike? Here's a question. 40-0 sucks. I mean, you got blown out. It's terrible. But when you lose 40-0, it's not a heartbreaking loss. It's almost, I'm going to say it, a pissed off loss, right? You're angry. You hope that you're angry because you got
embarrassed, angry. Yeah.
Yep. In a warped way or a strange way. And I hate that they lost 40-0. But a loss is a loss. Is it better that they're angry than that heartbreaking loss where you lose last second on a 55-yard field goal where now it rips the heart out of you and then they go through the whole week in the motions and they're down? You know what I mean? It's almost like when you get embarrassed, you turn it up next week rather than just pack it in, because we hear that all the time when they lose. Giants have lost in the past on those last second field goals. It's kind of like the whole roof caves in and they pack it in and it just wears on them. But I don't know. I'm just trying to be optimistic here, but I'm hoping the Giants do put the hammer to them. We'll see.
No, you're right. I mean, football is a very emotional game. I mean, you have to be ready to play football. You cannot play football at 25%, 50%. You got to play. Else, we always talk about that. If you try to tone it back, you're going to get hurt. When you got these guys playing at such a high level speed, you're going to get hurt. So you have to match an intensity and everything. So. Yeah, I agree with you. This is a game where you're pissed. You are embarrassed. Like you said earlier, they read the papers. They see social media. You don't think they're embarrassed about this? I mean, heck, these are proud athletes. I mean, I know I would be.
Absolutely. And how about their friends, right? It's a fraternity. All these guys are friends with everybody across the league.
Yeah, they get
Barkley's friends with Parsons. He recruited him, to Penn State. So they're busting chops to each other.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So that they're embarrassed. They want to go out and show up next week. Once again, Jay one of the guys made a good point about the creativity. It's hard to be creative, right, Mike? When you can't do play action, you can't put guys sweeps and put Campbell in these different spots and move them around if you don't trust the line, because that type of stuff takes time, right, to develop. So as much as God, we were all waiting for the creativity, and it's going to come, I think, at some point in the season. But it's tough to do some of these things that Kafka probably wants to do if you don't have the time to actually run the actual play. So it's going to be, we just got to be patient here and kind of like dip our toe in the water on Sunday and see what the hell happens.
Yeah, and that's what I hope all Giants fans will be patient. I know it's New York. It's a mentality of you got to win now, and you got to just guys be patient. I know 40-0. I mean, it sucked. I know. I'm with. I don't know. I think it was James. I think I told you, Chris. I was watching that game and I was laughing sometimes. It was like, what else could go wrong here? Holy shit! I mean, what else could go wrong? You had a blocked field goal. Then you had that interception out of Barkley when he got hit, a touchdown. Then you had this, and it was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, even fumbles that they recovered, they didn't recover, and it bounced.
Right. It's like, oh my gosh. It's just, and again, like you said too, it's just one game. It's one. There's a lot of teams right now, 0-1, that are good teams.
Yeah.
That were projected to go to the playoffs, that were projected to be going to the Super Bowl. So keep that in mind, Giant fans.
Yeah. I mean, unlike other sports, we have to wait a whole week. So it's not like you can review yourself the next night, right? And then it's over with. I mean, we have a week to dissect it, go over it, and still, we're still dealing with it until the kickoff. So yeah, I mean, it's one game, but it is scary because you hope that's not, what's to come, down the line. I'm hoping it's not. I don't think so, but this is a get-right game. I mean, this is a game that's on the schedule that falls perfectly for the Giants, a get-right game on the road, which is fine because there'll be a lot of Giant fans. It's probably better that they're on the road than getting booed at home after 40-0. So
yeah,
they're on the road.
You know darn well if they went home and they made one minor mistake, you hear booing going on. Yeah.
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 I will like to thank the schedule makers because we ripped on them enough when the schedule came out. But thank God they didn't put Frisco game 2, Cardinals game 3. Oh, because then we're looking at 0-2, and then it's like the Cardinals are feeling good about themselves because they got an 0-2 team. So let's be thankful we get the Cardinals in week 2. That fell perfectly. Thank God they are the team. As much as they played well, come on, we got a better roster. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to beat them, or the Giants, beat on
right.
them. But yeah, we should be able. They should be able to win this game. It's just, is it going to come down to a gut-wrenching Gano field goal with 10 seconds left, a 48-yarder down by 2, and it's like we got to endure the worries, the pain. Is he going to make it, or vice versa? Matt Prater, who kicks field goals, we've seen that before, right? And in fact, I read this stat last year before. I guess we'll be winding things down a little bit. But check this out, Mike. Last year, the Giants set the NFL record, and everybody out there, for the most last-second field goals over 55 yards. I think the Giants have lost at the gun, at end of regulation. I believe it's been like 4 field goals to end games over 55 yards. I mean, talk about ripping the heart. I mean, Gano, our own kicker, we saw it happen with the Panthers. So, we've seen it happen so many times. Let's hope, it's not in the cards on Sunday.
That's true. That's true.
Yep.
Positive thoughts, guys. We need all the fans to have positive thoughts all week.
We will. So you know what? Before we head out, let's everybody that's on the board, give us your prediction for Sunday. Give us a score, and let's see who comes close. Who knows? Maybe somebody will hit it. And give me your game MVP, even if it's the Cardinals. And if you say the Cardinals are going to win, let's give us a score. So chime in and give us your prediction before we sign off. And while we're doing anything, Mike, do you want to add in for the game while we're waiting for people's predictions? What do you think? Anything else?
You want me to give a prediction, or you just want me to give?
Let's see what they say first. Give me your prediction.
I think it's going to be a close game. I don't know about a last-second field goal, but I think it's going to be a game almost like the game. I think it's going to be like a game when the Giants played the Vikings in the playoffs. I think it's going to be both teams moving the ball, but the Giants are going to have. It's going to feel like the Giants are going to have control of the game, and I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to win by more than. If I was a betting man, I would say more than 5 points. I'm going to say more than 5 points.
Okay. Tudo's got a close game, 22-20, 24-20. Yeah, Jay, good one, 24-21. I could see that.
Look at Chris, 31-10 Giants.
Wow, that's a ticked off Giants.
I would love that one, Chris. Yeah. I would love that one. Yeah.
Yeah, the goofballs 27-17. Yeah, I could see.
I can see that.
I see the Giants
12.
Yep.
That's 5 points. That's what I kind of had.
17-12. Yeah, that'd be a Giant Cardinal type game, Peter. Yep. I'm going to say, even though the Giants are going to lean on the running game, maybe not put up a ton of points, I'm going to go 24-10. I think the Giants, or I'll say this. I'll say 20-10. I'll say 20-10, leaning on the running game.
Okay.
Not destroying them, but they win by 10. It's comfortable in the fourth quarter. 7 minutes left, and the Giants are up by 10, and you feel okay. You're not. Stuff happens at the end, but it could happen. But you're feeling good. So, and the defense does the job. So 20-10, and I say Barkley. Barkley goes over
2 touchdowns. Barkley gets 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns. He goes over $110 for.
And I think Bellinger gets a touchdown this week. No.
Yeah. And by the way, Waller didn't practice today, but they gave him more of a vet day. He's dealing with that. That little tweak on the hamstring that may bother him all year.
Yeah,
today.
Yep, you may see this being a trend all year. They're going to rest him.
Yeah, right. And who knows? Maybe on the crossing routes, we see a little of that on Sunday, where when Jones does throw, it's those quick crossing routes for some yards after the catch. But Sarah, 24-18. Yeah, I could see that. That sounds pretty reasonable.
That looks right, Sarah. Yeah. Who did the 49ers play this week? Past week? They lost, didn't they?
The 49ers play. It's a good question. If anybody
who did they play? They 0-1, right? Who did they play?
No, they beat the Steelers. They destroyed them.
They won. Okay.
Yeah, they won, and I'm not even sure because I haven't been looking ahead of the schedule. I have to go over. Let's see, who did they? And somebody will probably chime in right away. But it looks like the Somebody's probably the Rams. And the Rams, hey, you know what? The Rams put up some points. So pretty good.
Who did beat last week?
Who's that?
The Rams.
Oh, the Rams beat the oh God, I'm drawing a blank right now. Help me out here, anybody. They surprisingly put up a lot of points and won. They beat up on help us out here. Who did the Rams beat? I think they put up
Seattle. They beat Seattle.
Yes, they beat. I believe it was Seattle. Right. Yeah, and Gino didn't look that good either. So, you know, and no Cooper Kupp, and the Rams did. So who knows? Maybe that's a good game. Battle of the West. So we'll see. And you know what? That's a game the Giants have to win. I mean, this is a win on Sunday, and like Chris D, Seattle. Rams beat Seattle. Jay said that too. But that's a game the Giants have to win against Seattle. So put these two down are must wins. Cardinals and Seattle.
Especially coming home, the next home game after this disappointment.
That's right.
Fired up.
Line, yep. Got to go on the road against Miami and Buffalo at 2-2.
That's going to be tough.
You know, we want to make it to, the end of October, at least, involved. We don't want things to spiral. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But, Brock Purdy, right, Jay? I mean, unbelievable. Against Steelers, we heard about the Steelers, how the defense, don't be surprised. And, man, the guy was he was out last year, had surgery, came in the, beginning training camp, hasn't skipped a beat. So, interesting.
7th round pick.
Yep. You don't see that, often unless you're Tom Brady. So interesting to see how that career is going to.
It makes you wonder how well scouting, these guys, all this scouting information, and how do you miss that, really?
Yeah.
You don't know the heart of a player. Those two things you don't really know.
The heart and the brains, right?
Yeah. You don't know.
We've seen a ton of guys with the ability, and they just don't put it together.
Yep.
Yep. But all right. I guess we're going to – anything else, Mike, you want to add before we sign off?
No, not really. Just, guys, just support this team. And they're trying. I'm like a father figure here. So they're trying, and I know that they want to bring a winner to New York. They really do. So let's support them. Yeah.
Let's do that. This is game 2. This is a game the Giants should win, and there'll be a ton of Giant fans there. 4:05 kickoff. So enjoy the game, everybody. Remember and today, don't forget Chuck app was our sponsor. Please check out the Chuck app. They have just, besides the trivia stuff, they have a lot of cool stuff with your favorite teams to get all their information. So definitely check out the Chuck app. And we'll be back Monday, the rest of the crew, and Craig will be back with NYGIANTSRUSH for which hopefully will be a celebratory show after a big win against the Arizona. Even if they win by 1 point, it's a big win because
wins a win.
A win's a win. No style points, right, Mike?
That's right.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you next week. Enjoy the games. Have a great rest of your week.
See you, everyone.